there, sweet peas. Basic purple bomb, Myra. Whoo! There's a lot going on right now, isn't there? Man, between the World Economic Forum, the BRICS Summit, and I'm just going to say everything else that's going on, it's getting crazy. First of all, talking about the 15-minute city situation. Oh, no. First of all, sorry, I want to say to all my Florida peeps out there, hey, prayers. My heart goes out to you every time something like this happens back there. I just get sick to my stomach. I grew up in Florida, so had my share of hurricanes, but I'm going to just say that I don't think I lived there where we ever had a hurricane category 4 or 5. They were all pretty much downgraded by the time we got them. Tropical storm, tropical depression. I think maybe the strongest we had was a category 2, but I'm not sure. I can't remember on that. Anyway, just absolutely sick. I've got lots of friends that are back there, people that I know, and I worry about them all the time. I just feel like I need to be back there with them. I feel like I could do something to help them. I don't know. My heart goes out to them for sure. Anyway, so want to talk about the whole 15-minute city thing. So I'm going to try to talk where I'm not going to get flagged and tagged on this. And if you hear kittens, yes, I am bottle feeding kittens, and I just woke them up to bring them back home. They had to go to the office with me, so they are not happy that I woke them up and I'm not loving on them. Thankfully, it's a short way to the house. But anyway, this whole 15-minute city thing, they're really, really going to start pushing that, and they're going to use climate as a reason to really push it, basically claiming that climate change is real and we really need to do something to help the environment. So the only way to do that is to make sure that we have these 15-minute cities. Let me just tell you, that's going to be the reasoning behind doing it and pushing everyone to 15-minute cities. But once you're there, there's a bigger agenda, because then once you're there, they will know where you're at all the time. They will have basically full and total control, or the ability to have full and total control of everything that goes on in each of those 15-minute cities. I will not be complying. Just saying. If you have doubts about that, or you're not sure, look at the World Economic Forum, the WEF, BRICS just had their summit, I think either yesterday or the day before, you should go and just kind of peruse through the summit and what was said. And I can't remember if it was WEF or BRICS. One of them, there is a video going around, and I don't know the validity fully of that video. I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't know the total validity of it, but where they talk about a NW order. I'm not going to say the whole thing because, like I said, don't want to be flagged and tagged. I'm trying to avoid that. But the NW order, and how they are working and pushing toward that, and how basically everything is falling within their plans, so to speak. So we know that there is more and more talk of lockdowns again. I have heard starting mid-September that there will be implementation put through by certain places that will require it. I've also heard that currently right now there are mandatory, that thing put into place. I believe in Southern California, in the bigger counties down there, and some of the doctors and hospitals down there. I think that's where they were. Wow, that's the little girl, and she is super mad right now. They're not hungry. They literally just ate 2 hours ago. Anyway, so I do think that there are places right now. Doesn't she sound like she's dying? There are places right now that are mandatory. This thing right here. I think that we're going to see a bigger spread of it in mid-September. By the time we get to December, there's talk of, the protocol, just like it used to be. back in the day, back in the day. So you kind of have to figure out at this point, where is your line in the sand? Where is that hard line in the sand? What are you going to do and what are you not going to do? And I think that this is going to be one of the things that pushes, either it divides us more and pushes us into a possible conflict here in the States. I don't know. But I do know that there are so many small businesses that if we were to go through that, they will not survive. They barely survived last time. A lot of them didn't survive, but the ones that did survive, they will not survive something like that again. They will not. There's no way they will do that. So what are we going to do? Well, continue to stock up and store up. Right now, self-sufficiency, self-reliant, that's got to, I think, take a little bit of a back seat, because I think right now what you need to do is make sure that you are stocked up and stored up on food and medication, specifically over-the-counter flu and cold medication. But you need to be stocked up for a minimum 6 months. Minimum 6 months of food and supplies for you and your family to get through. And not necessarily, I don't think that we're going to end up in a shortage situation, or that you can't leave your house. We might end up in a shortage, but I don't think we're going to be in a situation where, you're going to be completely locked down and you can't leave your house. But I do think that prices are going to skyrocket on what is available is going to be so high that not everybody is going to be able to afford it. The majority of the people are not going to be able to afford it. So I think that we need to really, while we can now, and I'm just going to, prices have already started to go up. I actually talked to a friend of mine today, and she had been out of the States and out in the islands, let's just say over in the islands, for about a week. And she came back and had to go to the grocery store here to stock up for stuff for the house. And she said, I swear, in the last 10 days, things have gone up tremendously. She said, I don't remember stuff being this expensive when I left. And she said, when I came back, and I was kind of shocked. She said it was actually more expensive here than over on the islands. She goes, which is kind of unheard of. And she didn't buy anything that was extraordinary or anything like that. She said that it definitely was more expensive here in the States than it was on the islands, which is completely opposite of what it typically is. So she was shocked at how fast prices are going up. So do what you can. Hit the warehouse stores, hit the bulk stores. That's going to be your best bet, is to do that. Stock up on your over-the-counter medication for cold and flu, and just keep doing what you're doing. Look into BRICS, look into World Economic Forum, start really paying attention to what's going on a worldly level, because that's going to filter down to us, unfortunately, unless something big changes quickly. And I don't know what that is. We've got the whole Trump indictment thing going on, and being arrested and all that, and Biden saying some very interesting things about him and about his picture. But that is, to me, that's more of a distraction. I don't really care. That doesn't affect me personally. Now, I do think that it would be in everybody's best interest for Trump to be back into office. Not because I'm a fan of Trump, not because I'm his, number one ally here, but because I think that he doesn't play games with world leaders. And that's probably one of the biggest things, and he definitely brought jobs back to the States. He brought things back here. But the biggest thing is that he doesn't back down to world leaders. I don't care who they are. He doesn't care who they are. He doesn't back down to them. And I think right now that's going to be about the only thing that's going to pull us through, is to have somebody with enough backbone to stand up to world leaders to say, we don't need you. We can do this on our own. We don't need you. You either work with us or you don't work with us. That's up to you. But I'm not bowing down to you. If you want stuff from us, then we get stuff from you, kind of thing. And I definitely think that that's what we need right now. And if we don't have that, and we still have someone who just continues to back down, who continues to want to do whatever they want us to do, I think it's going to really lead to a lot of problems. So But that is my personal opinion. Everyone's entitled to their personal opinion. Not that I'm a fan of anybody. I don't necessarily think that any politician is going to save us. That's not what I'm getting at either. Please don't confuse that. But I do think that there are politicians that would help to push us forward to a different level. I don't think anybody's going to help us, and I definitely don't think anyone from the government's going to help us. So we're going to have to do what we need to do. The other thing is, look at your emergency plan. Sorry, I have a blow pop here. I am addicted to these. One of the things I will be stocking, this is my luxury that I will be stocking up on. But anywho, look at your emergency plan and really go over it with your family. I would say by October 1st, make sure that you have your emergency plan in place. Make sure you know what you're going to do, and make sure that by October 1st, you've got enough supplies that you can push yourself forward and pull your family through for 6 months. That includes your animals too. That is my biggest, I think my biggest downfall is trying to, with the animals that we have. Can you hear that? That's not even my goat. We have a friend's goat that is boarding here, and she is this little tiny thing, and she is that loud. She's very spoiled. She wants food. Anywho, we've got a horse and we've got the goats. The other animals, I'm not too worried about. We can get through, but the goats and the horses, because we don't have pasture, we don't have, anything for them to graze on, that's going to be the biggest issue with stocking up. So, if you live in an area, like everything around here is dead and dry at this point. So there is nothing for them to eat, which means they rely on us to supplement their food, to give them, not even supplement, to give them their food. Which means that I need to make sure that I am stocked up on hay as much as possible. And with hay prices being crazy ridiculous, there's honestly no way that I can stock and store enough hay to get my few animals. I only have 5 goats and a horse, but there is no way that I can stock up enough hay to get all of them through 6 months, because financially, I just can't do it. And storage wise, I don't have any place that we can store that much hay. That's a lot of hay that you're talking about, literally like a half a barn full of hay just for 6 months worth. So just for my small amount of animals, roughly. And we could ration them and I think they would be fine, but it's still a lot to maintain. So make sure that you're looking at your food, but also your animals' food as well, and start really looking at those alternatives to feed your animals, because I think that's going to be very helpful too. So that's what I have to talk about today. Do your research, look into things. Don't ever take anything for granted that anyone says. Really start looking into what's going on in not just the world. You need to be aware of what's going on in the world, but in our country, in our area, in your area, specific to you, make sure that you are aware of what's going on and what's coming down the line, and be prepared as possible. Once again, if you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out. I hope you guys have a wonderful, amazing day. Continue to stock and store, and I'll talk to you later.